this, don't forget to get my free training underneath. It teaches you more about all those methods. So let's go for one Academy member has asked for the dollar ZAR and the MXN. Okay, so exotic currencies, you need to be a little bit more careful trading things like the dollar ZAR because you can get really, really wild swings in it. If you go on your monthly and you zoom out, you can just see this consistent ascension. Okay, but it does get choppy in the meantime, so it obviously creates opportunity. If you start on your monthly, you can see the dollar ZAR, okay, the dollar against the South African rand, has seen significant rejection where I'm labeling. In other words, you're not seeing that buying power as much, and it's stalling around where you previously fell. If you look at your weekly, you can see that's also the case, and you can see you are now pushing down into 1887 area. Right now, I did do a post on this, but what I would say is the following. You can see within the movement I'm labeling that you've gone sideways since August, okay, significant period of time now. And really, I would just cut down to those lower time frames, and I would look for that sideways choppy movement to be continued, because I can't see the market is really, really rallying down. But if you do get slightly lower, it wouldn't entirely shock me. So I guess what I'm saying is if you are going to trade this, it's going to have to be very light. Okay, and I would just go in line with what you've seen before, okay, which is long entries once you fall lower around here. But just be very wary, those entries have to be light, because if you start putting your time frames up, okay, you've got an awful long way to go down if you do end up getting there. You did have a retracement here, 17.4, and you came straight back up. So if you're going to trade it anyway, I would do it with light sizes. And I would do this within weekly support, which you can see here. It's very strong. That's why you've teetered around at this point. If you do drop through the first layer there at 18.7, wouldn't be shocked if you get to 18.58 or 18.60. So you could hold off any longs until 18.60. I think that's probably the risk-averse approach. I think that's probably far more preferable for most. That would get you considerably further into your 20 and 40 MA. So dollars are, I prefer it at 18.6. That's my overall bias. Anything to the upside, perhaps near a 19.38, 386, I would consider short. So that's the dollars are. I'm going to do the dollar MXN. Interesting charts. Thanks for asking. I would stick, if you're new, just to very basic dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, or just indexes, US 100, SPX, stuff like that. Don't make it hard for yourself. These can trend for a long time, they can move very quickly, and you can lose a lot of money by leverage, so be very careful. And what I do like about the Mexican peso, you've had a bounce from this point, 16.59. Okay, the dollar against the Mexican peso has excelled, it's accelerated in value for an extreme amount of time. Didn't quite make it to 200 MA. I do really like this as a key long zone. Okay, it's just around your 200 MA. Most importantly, it comes in line with this key level of support / price action. So if you ultimately get there, eventually 15.5 is ideal for longs. If I zoom into the market, going from monthly to weekly, what you can see is minor rejection here. But with that is coupled with minor rejection from the south side. So it doesn't want to pull down clearly. And for that reason, I wouldn't be shocked if it gets higher. If you had it short, I would close it, okay, for gains or lock in gains. And I would consider perhaps the fact that you may get slightly higher. And I would say if you can get to this key moving average, I think that's your 20. If you can get to that key MA, it's ideal for renewed shorts. Again, you've got a wall of PA here, a wall of rejection. I don't think you're going to slam through that first time, especially given the sentiment from 2020. Okay, you've gone down considerably. I would just make your sizes light. If you're going to trade dollars ZAR, you're going to trade dollar at MXN, it has to be light. You can't afford to be trading enormous sizes on stuff like this, so just don't do it. But my short bias is there. You could consider as well, if you're slightly more risk averse, shorting nearer this key 100 MA and nearer your 40. I think your 40 MA will probably trickle along a little bit like this, and therefore that would be ideal. So I think really I would say for MXN, I'd rather short here. If you get there, 19.35. So we're looking at the risk averse approach by basically letting the market stretch further into a higher price, increasing the profit margin if you were to take it short. So we let it drift, and the longer it drifts, obviously ultimately the further it will fall a lot of the time. So hold off MXN and ZAR. I wouldn't bother trading them just yet. That is the MXN and the ZAR complete.